welcome back to Omoshiroi Recap. Today, I will recap our last crusade or the rise of a new world. The story begins with the strongest knight in the Empire, Iska, who betrays the Empire by freeing a witch from prison. But the Imperial Council discovered his actions, so he was detained for 1 year and expelled from the Holy Knights. Even so, Iska was still allowed to repent his sins. He was ordered to kill the Ice Calamity Witch. After that, Iska met his friend, the 3rd Special Defense Division, Jaehin, Neni, and Miss. Iska also explained that their target this time was the Ice Calamity Witch. Miss was shocked because they would face the strongest witch. They started their journey towards the vanguard. When Iska and the others arrived in the middle of the forest, they were surrounded by the spirit army of the nebulized sovereign. In that situation, Neni deployed a missile attack, then Iska and Jaehin attacked the enemy troops one by one. After the enemy troops were defeated, a witch who could control Golem named Rin appeared. Iska asked his friends to retreat while he fought the witch. During the battle, Iska easily slashed the opponent's attack. This made his opponent suspect that he was the strongest holy knight in the Empire. Iska asked her to tell him the whereabouts of the Ice Calamity Witch. Because Rin refuses to tell him about it, Iska is forced to beat her. After Iska defeats her, he is immediately approached by the Ice Calamity Witch named Alice. She deployed a large-scale magic attack that froze the forest. Iska tried to fight her using a dual sword technique, but in the end, the fight ended in a draw. Suddenly, Alice lost her balance and made her fall, but Iska managed to save her. It made Alice blush, and they decided to leave there. A few days later, Iska and Alice couldn't stop thinking about the previous fight. To forget that, they planned to vacation in a neutral city, and unexpectedly, they could meet again in that city. Not only that, by chance, they visited the same restaurant and were at the same table. Alice and Rin were very wary of him, but they shouldn't make a fuss in a neutral town. Because she has the same appetite, Alice unconsciously talked about many things with Iska. They looked very compatible, as if they had a special relationship, but Rin asked her not to be friends with the Empire. After that, Alice met the Queen, who was her mother. She explained that Alice's battle against Iska made one of the founding witches' seals begin to crack and want to get back up. So her mother asked Alice to avoid fighting with the Empire for a while. Therefore, Alice intends to visit an art exhibition. On the other hand, Iska and the others are carrying out an exercise. In the next mission, their unit will be under the command of a special advisor, Rissia. Before carrying out the mission, Iska gets tickets to visit an art exhibition. So he met Alice, and it seemed they were fated to meet again even though they were against each other. A day out together in the city made their relationship even closer. Iska meets with the Imperial Council. They want to make him a holy knight again because Iska can beat Alice in battle. Even so, he was still considered a criminal who had betrayed the Empire, so he was ordered to arrest Alice immediately. After going through various things with Alice, Iska felt burdened with this mission, so he decided to meet her again in Neutral City. At the same time, Alice, who was in Nebulized's sovereignty, found information about Iska's identity. Alice is surprised to learn that Iska is a holy knight considered a traitor after freeing a witch, so she wanted to meet Iska to understand why Iska freed the witch. When they met, Iska explained that his goal was to negotiate peace and end the war. Alice felt that the negotiations would not go smoothly because the residents of Nebulize had an intense hatred for the Empire. Alice felt that Iska was a good person, so she asked him to support the sovereign by being her subordinate, and would guarantee his social status. Suddenly the sky there cracked, and a great witch appeared before them. She possessed extraordinary strength and was the one who had created the Nebulized nation. The purpose of its appearance is to kill Alice. Iska immediately asked Miss and Rin to evacuate the surrounding residents while they were about to fight the founding witch. Alice mobilized the power of ice from a distance to help Iska while Iska approached the founding witch and then slashed her wings with a sword. So they made the founding witch fall asleep again in her seal. But the cooperation between Iska and Alice only ends here. They will become enemies again because Iska refuses to support Nebula's sovereignty. On the other hand, there is a disturbance in the flow of the spirit, which is suspected to be a vortex. The flow of spirit emitted can give birth to powerful witches. Therefore, the Empire sends its troops to that location. Risia also conveyed that and gave Iska's troop a new mission to stop Vortex. One of the Nebula's royal families, namely the Zoa family, intends to take advantage of the Vortex energy. That's why they deliberately kept the Vortex a secret from Alice. After knowing this, Alice immediately prepared herself to go to the Vortex. Meanwhile, the 8th seed of the Saint Disciples, named Nameless, orders all troops to secure the Vortex or destroy it if the Vortex is on the enemy's side. Alice and Rin have arrived at the Vortex. Alice suspects that the Zoa family will control the Vortex, but they always denied it and said the Vortex had just been discovered. However, his real goal is to use the Vortex to wage war with the Empire. Iska's army saw the light of the Vortex and wanted to head there, but there was a magician disguised as an Imperial soldier. Nameless is also there, and he easily defeats the wizards, but one of them manages to escape and takes Miss hostage. Since Nebula's sovereignty has taken control of the Vortex, Nameless intends to launch a missile to destroy the place. Hearing this, Iska and his friends rushed there to save Miss. When he got there, Iska met a wizard named Kissing. She inherited the founding wizard's blood and had strong powers. But for Iska, fighting him wasn't too difficult because the Holy Sword's power allowed him to cut all of Kissing's attacks. On the other hand, Alice, who wanted to meet Iska, faced Nameless at the Imperial headquarters instead. Alice was very upset because she couldn't find Iska and couldn't hold back her anger because Nameless had injured her. So Alice used her full power to beat him. With the mighty power of ice, Nameless decided to withdraw from there. A few moments later, the head of the Zoa family, Lord Mask, met Iska. He immediately kicked Miss until she fell into a vortex. Iska decided to jump there to save her, and at the same time, Alice used her spirit power to bring them back to the surface. However, a fairy spirit separates their meeting, so Iska and Alice are separated and in different places. Alice felt frustrated because her meeting with Iska was always disturbed. She wanted to finish her business immediately with Iska, so she and Rin visited a neutral city in hopes of meeting him. On the other hand, Risia asked them to infiltrate the Nebula's sovereign to kidnap the royal princess, but they felt it was impossible because the security was tight and there was a spirit detection device. Risia said she had a solution but needed a few days to prepare it. Captain Miss has a severe problem. After leaving the vortex, suddenly a magic symbol appears on her body. One of the spirits possibly entered her body and made Miss able to use magic like a witch in general. Iska and the others advised her to hide the crest and become their captain as usual. That made Miss feel happy because she had good friends. The next day, Iska brought Miss to the city of Neutral. When Miss buys a drink, Iska meets Alice again. It turned out that Alice had been looking for him for the last few days, so she was overjoyed that she had found Iska. Iska was in that place because he thought of something. He was having many problems and wanted to find a way to solve the problem. Alice was even more curious about it, and she forced Iska to tell her. Rin suddenly came to meet them. Then, she gave both of them drinks. After drinking, it made Iska faint. It turned out that Rin had mixed the drink with sleeping pills. Hence, they had no choice but to take him away. Miss saw what happened. She tried to save Iska and activated her spirit power. Unfortunately, she couldn't do anything, and they took away Iska. Since Iska was the Holy Knight of the Empire, it was very likely that he would be caught by the security forces and sentenced to death. Alice ordered Rin not to take him to the central region to prevent that. On the other hand, Risia received information that Iska had been kidnapped and taken to the city of Alcatraz, a prison area. To infiltrate the city, Miss forces must disguise themselves as wizards. Therefore, Risia brought spirit seals to make spirit emblems on their bodies so they could cross the border. Alice plans to detain Iska in the noble Nebulized Hotel. When Alice left there, Rin immediately attacked Iska with a knife. She felt that Iska was very dangerous for the Nebulized Sovereign's future, so Rin intended to kill him as soon as possible. Alice came to meet them and stopped the fight. On the other hand, Miss and the others managed to enter the city of Alcatraz, and Rissia asked them to go to prison so they could save Iska. They didn't know that Iska wasn't there but was in the noble's hotel. Alice, who had finished showering, unknowingly met Iska, so Iska could see the spirit symbol on her back. Alice wanted to know what Iska thought about her. He replied that he considered Alice a rival on the battlefield. Hearing that made Alice very happy, and subconsciously showed her beautiful body to Iska. On the other hand, Rissia meets the most dangerous prisoner who has ever fought the queen before. He is named Salinger. Rissia intends to free him from there and offers to cooperate in revenge. Since he was bored in the prison, Salinger accepted the offer. He immediately made a mess in the prison area, while Miss and the others had to get out of that place before they were caught by the guards there. Alice has received information that Salinger has been released from prison, so Alice immediately prepares to stop him. Before going indirectly, Alice asked Iska for help. She deliberately kept the key to unlock his handcuffs in an easy-to-find place. When Alice arrived at the incident scene, Alice quickly extinguished the fire with her ice. At the same time, Iska could meet his friends again. Iska also asked them to leave the place immediately, and he intended to help Alice stop the prisoners from escaping. At the same time, Rin was fighting Salinger. Salinger was powerful. He had stolen the royal family's spirit energy, so that he becomes a powerful wizard and can have many spirits. If Iska arrived too late, it's likely that Salinger would have killed Rin. Iska will defeat Salinger in exchange for Rin having to let him be with friends so he can get out of the border. While fighting, Salinger uses his spirit ability, but Iska can predict the direction of his attack and parries it with a sword. Then Salinger combined two spirits that could create greater destructive power. Iska survived the attack because her black sword could cut magic while the white sword imitated the magic that had been slashed. Alice saw their fight from a distance. She also saw Rin was seriously injured. Therefore, she immediately came there to protect Rin, so Iska could focus more on his fight. Salinger felt he couldn't win, so he decided to run away from there. After that, the chaos inside the prison was cleared, and the troops from the Empire also came out. Iska didn't expect his friends to cross the nebulized sovereign border safely, so he was pleased because they were okay. A few days later, Alice was in the palace. While Alice and Rin were talking about Iska, a third princess was watching over them. It turns out that she is a witch saved by Iska before. Her name is Sisbel, and she hopes to meet Iska again someday. Sisbel looked uneasy as if there was a problem. She could not trust the people in the palace because she had the power to watch over others from a distance. She also had nightmares about the collapse of the nebulized palace and the queen. Then Sisbel was ordered by the queen to go to the country of Alcatraz to find out if they were allied with the empire. On the other hand, someone from the medical team met Iska with the others. She explained that they had carried out many dangerous missions and exceeded the allotted time. Because they were ordered to take a vacation for 60 days, they decided to go on vacation to Alcatraz. Iska and his friends took advantage of their vacation by playing on the beach. Later that afternoon, Iska coincidentally met Sisbel, but Sisbel immediately disappeared and had not had time to talk to him because Nenny had come to meet Iska. Sisbel had not given up on getting help from her ideal knight. She intended to sneak into Iska's room. Sisbel thanked him for saving her, so she wanted to give her bracelet, but Iska refused and asked Sisbel to explain the purpose of her visit. Sisbel needed his help, not without reason. At the moment, she didn't have any subordinates or people she could trust. Therefore, Sisbel wants to bring Iska to Nebulize to help her solve problems that will occur in the future. Meanwhile, in the Nebulized Sovereign Palace, the queen worries about Sisbel, who often locks herself in her room. Then when they entered her room, Alice realized that Sisbel had a relationship with Iska. Because of that, Alice asked the queen for permission to meet Sisbel in the country of Alsamira. The information about the country of Alsamira allying with the Empire turned out to be accurate, and they planned to kidnap Sisbel using a special weapon. The next day, Sisbel meets Iska again. She tells him about her power and reveals her true identity, that she is the third princess of the nebulized sovereign. She insisted on asking for help because someone wanted to kill the queen. That person was also planning to continue the war with the Empire and wreak havoc throughout the world. Lord Mask suddenly met them, and Sisbel was considered to have betrayed and collaborated with the Empire's knights. Apart from being surrounded by sovereign wizards, Sisbel was also being targeted by autonomous weapons from the Empire. Iska fought to protect Sisbel while his friends also helped and fought Lord Mask. In the middle of the battle, Miss has mastered her magic. She can eliminate the magic of the other witches around her. Jaehyun's attacks also corner his opponent and retreat from the battle. Iska and his friends face autonomous weapons. He gathers tremendous spiritual power. Therefore, Iska asks his friends to take refuge in a safe place. Seeing Iska fighting to protect her made Sisbel want to help him. Sisbel's power managed to slow down the attack of autonomous weapons so that Iska could attack his weak point. But the autonomous weapon got even stronger after he sucked on Sisbel. As a result, Sisbel became trapped there. When Iska grew tired of fighting him, Alice came to help him. The two did not expect to meet at that place, but Alice decided to fight with Iska to save her sister. Ultimately, autonomous weapons that have merged with spirits are no longer their match. After Sisbel regained her senses, she immediately wanted to take Iska from Alice. Hearing this made Alice jealous, but Iska had to leave immediately because his friends had already summoned him. A few days later, Iska met Alice again somewhere. They enjoyed peaceful days together. And that is the end of the video. Remember to subscribe and like this video, so see you in the next video.